What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I have an in-depth comparison between the Proton Physix, which is one of the newer ones that I drilled, and one of my favorites, the Reality. These balls have a lot of similarities, so we're gonna see on the lanes what separates them and if it's worth having both of them in the bag, or if it's gonna be pick one and leave one. So if you guys like this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you like this jersey, go to coolwick.com and use my promo code Napoles10, and that'll get you 10% off your entire order. There's gonna be links down below in the description where you can order a Proton Physix or a Reality or anything bowling related. It's the best way to help support the channel, and I would super appreciate it. There's also gonna be a link down below to my Patreon as well as my Discord, which is completely free. All right, so the Proton Physix and the Reality have very similar cores. So the Proton features the atomic core, which has an RG of 2.48, a max differential of 0.53, and an intermediate differential of 0.17. And then the Reality features the disturbance asymmetrical core, which has an RG of 2.49, which is one tick higher than the Proton Physix, a max differential of 0.52, which is one tick lower than the Proton Physix, and an intermediate differential of 0.18, which is one tick higher than the Proton Physix. So all in all, very, very similar cores. And then the covers, I assume, are going to be pretty similar. The Reality features the S77 cover stock that comes out of box at a 2000 finish, and the Proton Physix features the NEX Solid that also comes out of box at a 2000 finish, and the layout on both of these is the same, 30 by 5 by 30. So let me know down below in the comments if you have a Proton Physix or a Reality, which one's your favorite and why. Let's get on the lanes. All right, first shot here, we're gonna start in the Proton Physix because it's the older one of the two, and it's the one I've had the most fun throwing. That's way better. And then I 4-pin. Yeah, this Proton Physix is strong. Missed in a little bit there. Yeah, I can't miss in like that. Yeah, the cover on this ball is just too strong and not enough oil in the middle here to expect any kind of hold. All right, so those were the first 5 shots here at South Point with the Proton Physix, and this ball is so strong. Like I said before one of those shots, there's not enough oil in the middle part of the lane to create any kind of hold if I miss in. And it's actually crazy to me how there's more friction at Samstown, for example, but there's more oil in the middle part of the lane. So if I miss in, I can get away with a little bit of miss room in. Here at South Point, I have no miss room to the inside with this Proton. So now I'm gonna get to the Reality, and I'm gonna start in the same spot that I was just at. And my prediction is that the Reality is gonna be a little bit cleaner through the front and maybe a little bit more shape down lane when compared to this Proton, which honestly may not be such a bad thing for what I'm bowling on right now. So let's get on the lanes. All right, first shot with the Reality, and like I said, same spot that I just left off at with the Proton. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the Reality is not as early as the Proton. Definitely cleaner, definitely more shape. Yeah, something like this Reality will just see more lane time here at South Point because of how clean it is. Well, clean compared to the Proton. Still kind of early. What? All right, so we're 5 shots in with each ball, the Proton and the Reality, and I'm seeing a really big difference on the lane. The Proton wants to be significantly earlier, significantly smoother, and slower off the spot, where the Reality wants to get through the fronts a little bit easier, create more shape, and because of that, I'm moving a little bit further in to create that more shape, but I still think that the Proton, at least 5 shots in with each, I think that the Proton is the stronger one of the two. So let's get back on the lanes and move a full zone to the left, and I'll get in the Proton Physix. All right, so I'm gonna move in here and try to find some oil in the middle part of the lane, and hopefully the Proton will look pretty good here. Yeah, see, when I got in like that, it looked pretty good. Missed right. Yeah, oil is this Proton Physix's best friend. Yeah, I've been having so much fun throwing this Proton Physix. Hey guys, I don't know what's going on with my trail leg, so we're just gonna try to throw a good shot here and forget about it. Yeah, so I don't know what my trail leg is doing. It's like sliding back and then around. I'm gonna try not to think about it too much, but anyway, the Proton Physix, when I got in, starts to look really, really good because the cover stock is so strong that it needs that oil. So now I'm gonna get into the reality, and I'm gonna start in the same spot and like really shoot it right to see, because I think that's gonna be the big difference. If I throw the reality and create that much angle and it bails a little bit down lane, that tells me that I need to move a little bit further right. But I'm expecting that I'm gonna be able to get to the pocket with the reality from the same spot as the Proton, just in a different motion. So let's get back on the lanes. All right, so we'll start in the reality, same spot that I just left off at with the Proton. Yeah, so here I'm able to strike from the same spot, but it's way cleaner through the front. That might hold. Yeah, Proton don't hold from there. Yeah, this reality allows me to miss in and still get there, which leads me to believe the cover is weaker than the Proton. Yeah, this reality on a house shot is just so good. Oh, come on. All right, last shot here in the reality before I get back in the Proton. Let me try not to miss as far to the right here. Oh, and I did anyway. And it struck anyway. So the reality from that same spot, like I said, is way cleaner through the fronts and wants to pop a little bit more down lane, where the Proton was a little slower off the spot. And they're gonna, I don't know if you can use them in a 6-ball arsenal, but maybe in an expanded arsenal for tournaments, maybe you can warrant having both of them in the bag. If you like balls that are a little bit earlier, a little bit rollier, a little bit smoother, then you're gonna lean more towards the Proton. And if you want an asymmetrical solid that's gonna be a little bit cleaner through the fronts, it's gonna shape a little bit more down lane, you're gonna be in the reality instead. And then again, it's all gonna be based on what kind of bowling center you're bowling at. At Samstown, for example, I would throw the Proton over the reality. But here at South Point, I would throw the reality over the Proton. So let's get back on the lanes with the Proton Physix. All right, so we're back in the Proton Physix, and I'm gonna stay in because this ball really likes that oil. Good shot. What's up? All right, let me keep it in on that because I kind of struggled to get back. Much better. Way, way better. All right, so I'm gonna move like a little bit left. And again, just try to keep it in the oil because when I do, it looks really good. Push a little? No. More angle than that for sure. All right, so I'll go to the same spot on my feet. Just open up the angle a little bit here. Yeah, there we go. All right, let let me try to repeat that here for the last shot with the Proton. Good shot. I think for those reasons is why the Proton Physix is just so much fun for me to throw. I like to play in the oil, keep my angles in front of me, and just know that it's gonna handle that volume in the middle and going to shape. Balls like the Reality, where I have to create larger angles, typically doesn't play into my A game, which is why typically you see me in the smoother options. So now we're gonna get back into the Reality and do my best to impersonate that guy back there, Chris, who likes to shape the ball this much. So let's get on the lanes. All right, so I'm gonna move left with the Reality, but keep my angles large. Oh, yeah, I wish that I could repeat those shots time and time again. Oh, I guess I did twice in a row? Yeah. All right, let's make another good shot here. Oh, there's the limit right there. Yeah, I have a tendency to miss it at the bottom from this far left, so let's make sure we get a handful on this shot here. There we go. Oh. All right, last shot of the video. Let's end on a good note. Oh, crap, 10. All right, so now we're done comparing the Proton Physix and the Reality. And guys, these are both asymmetrical solids, and that's really where the similarities kind of end for me. The Proton wants to be very early, very rolly, very control when compared to the Reality, where the Reality wants to be a little bit cleaner through the front, outshapes the Proton by a considerable margin. So if you have one, I would say that if you wanted a different look, different option, you can warrant having both of them. They're not going to be so similar that you can't have them both, but you definitely need the volume to do so. So guys, thank you so much for joining me in this video. Use the links in the description, helps me out a ton. I'm trying to do this full time. Chris, sign them out. Sign them out. Till next time.